There's a new true crime podcast that tells the crazy story of a Chicago guy named Dave Rupert, who was a truck driver turned spy who infiltrated the dangerous Real IRA to bring down a kingpin of that organization.
Underbelly, the rebel kind, shares this wild tale that led to a big conviction. Sometimes investigative journalist Bob Herguth worked on this case in the podcast. He joins us now. Good to see you, Bob.
Good morning.
Good to see you guys. Thanks for having me.
So what was intriguing about this guy and this case? There's so many Chicago stories to tell.
Yeah, I mean, what's not intriguing? I mean, first of all, this is just a regular guy, with Chicago ties. He grew up in upstate New York, but lived here. He's not Irish. He's not Catholic, which, again, if you know anything about Northern Ireland, is, the Catholics and Protestants are sort of, there's a line between them, and that's the, sort of part of the conflict. And he had, no real ties to the country, and yet he was able to burrow into what is a very secretive, violent faction of the IRA at a very sensitive time when peace was about to be reached in the 90s.
Yeah. So who said and why? Who said you should be a good spy and why? And why did he say sure?
Yeah.
Well, there is a book about this that I did not do by another writer called The Accidental Spy, and then that's a good title because it's sort of like it's a bunch of sort of blundering and just sort of chances and just sort of like, well, let's just try this and it worked out. But really, it's this guy's force of personality and intelligence and being sort of kind of a crafty businessman and just grew up kind of scrapping to survive. And it just, he was able to adjust and pivot and make this happen.
But I'm still not getting, there's a lot of people like this. So he was a trucker, he was a pro wrestler at one point, he's an entrepreneur. Does he cross paths with someone in the FBI and they find out he'd be good at something? How does that start?
Well, basically it starts that he was dating a woman who was Irish American, and they went to Ireland, and they ended up coming across a bunch of basically IRA types, and he sort of befriends them, not caring about the Republican cause, Republican with the lower R, because Republican for the Republic of Ireland, reuniting Ireland, and sort of becomes friends with these guys. And at some point, an Irish cop takes a photo of him with one of these IRA guys. It trickles back to the U.S. He's back in the U.S. sometime later. An FBI agent comes in, puts the photo down, and says, "What's with you and this guy?" And he's like,
I don't know.
Like whatever,
Yeah.
and will you help us? And I think he sees dollar signs, and so he ends up kind of helping him.
So what was the mission? And I don't know how much you want to
Is this him?
Yeah, that's him. That's Dave Rupert.
I don't know how much you want to give away, but was he successful? And were there any consequences that did not go well for him?
Well, the consequences is that, 25 years after peace was reached, or relative peace in Northern Ireland, he's still in hiding in witness protection. He's not out of the woods. And so, I mean, that should tell you something. The consequences are that the most probably, you mentioned Kingpin of the IRA, Mickey McKevitt, was put in prison. He died a couple years ago of cancer, but he was put away, and his faction, which was called the Real IRA, was a splinter group off the Provisional IRA, was, I don't want to say dismantled, but hobbled, and the peace is still with us. And Joe Biden was there last year to celebrate, this relative peace, and which was a very tenuous peace at first that could have been derailed if these bombings had continued. And this Chicago guy was, I believe, very crucial in sort of ending that.
Huh.
Ending the campaign of bombing.
Did he have to go under specialized spy training, or was it more like, hey, you have the gift of gab and let us know what you find?
Well, it was really just kind of like report back to us at first if you hear anything, see anything, and it just sort of ramped up from there. No, there was really no spy training until basically the FBI handed him off to MI5, which is Britain's domestic intelligence agency, and then things got a little more sophisticated. But no, it was very by the seat of your pants. Which is why part of this podcast, which I did, my partner Abdon Palish and I did this together.
So at a certain point, you get I'm sure he's like, this could be bad for me and I might have to go into hiding, but he still went ahead with all of this, and he's been in hiding for 25 years.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really, really gutsy guy, you know, and he just grew up in rural upstate New York. He was just kind of a rough and tumble business guy, a lot of kind of shady dealings in his time. So he he was I don't want to say unintimidated, but just, and he also saw dollar signs down the road too. He was unapologetic. He did not necessarily have a dog in this fight. Not Irish, not Catholic, or whatever.
Yeah.
But he did have some sort of, by his words, moral compass where that he thought obviously like killing people is wrong.
Right.
So he was okay with doing this.
Any idea what kind of money he made to figure out if this was all worth it?
Millions.
Oh, really? Wow.
Unbelievable. Does he have any ties in Chicago anymore? Did you find any of his family or no?
Yeah, I mean his blood family is in upstate New York, and they're getting older. I mean, but he's got ties here through through his wife and all that.
Yeah.
And this whole project kind of came together originally. Abden, my partner at the time at the Sun Times, and I did a book that never got published. It got collapsed. We got sucked into federal court in this case. Subpoenaed by McKevitt's lawyers in Ireland while the trial was going on. It's a disaster. So the book never happened. We held onto the tapes that we interviewed Rupert, which is sort of the core of this podcast.
Wow. Well, it's fascinating. You can listen to Underbelly, the Rebel Kind podcast, anywhere you get your podcast. And for more details, go to entropymedia.art. Thanks, Bob. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Good to see you guys. Thanks for having me.